Hey guys, what's going on? Mike Wagner checking in. I want to first apologize for my appearance. I'm realizing that I look like I'm strung out a little bit, and that is partly because I've been on a whirlwind tour. Went from New York to Florida to buy a vehicle, and then drove back north 1,400 miles in a very short time frame. So I'm still recuperating from that. I got one good night's sleep since then, but deal with it. All right, I look like crap. But I'm feeling good, and that's why I wanted to share this with you today. One of the questions I get a lot about folks is, or from folks, is about the difference between economic occupancy of a storage facility and physical occupancy. Now, as their names would indicate, physical occupancy is how many of the units or how much of the square footage is filled, and economic occupancy deals with the percentage of revenue that you're bringing in as compared to the full potential. For example, if a property fully rented is 10 grand a month and you're bringing in 8 grand a month, you're 80% economically occupied. Now, that number will differ from the physical occupancy. Now, that's pretty straightforward. Most people can grasp that pretty easily. What I want to talk about pretty quickly here today is just a general overview of kind of how they relate to one another, because sometimes one will be going up and the other will be going down, and that can seem like a very bad thing. And so here's an example. If you take a look at my screen here, overall occupancy, and this is the number of units rented, is 92% right now. This is our Florida property that we bought in April of 18, so about 17 months ago. And this doesn't go back far enough, but in April of 18, we were 40% full. But if you can see here, we had 175 units rented, 174 units rented back in June and July, and now we're down to 170. So our physical occupancy has actually gone down a little bit. We were up near 97%, and I've noticed that here at our location in Florida, that August, we tend to take a little bit of a dip. Maybe it's the heat of Florida. People just don't want to move in, and so whatever the case may be, the knee-jerk reaction is to look at this and go, whoa, Mike, you used to be 97%. Now you're 95%. Is this thing going in the wrong direction? And that's what I want to talk about today. So I'm going to pull up some reports here. This first one, and I guess this might be the only one I need to pull up to make the point. So we're going to look at our occupancy history. Now, Easy Storage Solutions wasn't offering this occupancy history until March of this year, and I like to think that I had something to do with it. I called them up and said, listen, this is something we got to have. And they are a very responsive company, and I'm sure other people had chimed in. It wasn't just me, and they said, yeah, let's do it for Mike. But I do believe in giving feedback to companies to help them provide a better service, and that's what we did here, and it paid off. So bottom line is, if you look here, these are each of the unit sizes under economic occupancy. And in March, I'm just going to paint a broad brush stroke here. We were 84% occupied. Now we're 76% economically occupied, which means from a percentage standpoint, we're going in the wrong direction. Same here, 80% to 79, 88% to 77%. And again, this gives you the impression, man, financially speaking, this property must be going down. Now, if we look down here at economic occupancy, we're more even keeled, right? We're actually, if we look back to March to today, everything seems to be going up from 90 to 94, 88 to 97. So in this case, you're like, well, area occupancy is going up. More people are moving in. How on earth is economic occupancy going down? And the most important number, right, is revenue. So let's look here. In March, our total price was $13,672. That's if we were fully rented out at the rates that we were charging in March. This is how much money we would bring in. And relative to the actual income, our number was $11,274. So economically, we were 82% full. Area-wise, we were 88% full. So this is a relatively standard lag. We're going to see a difference because sometimes there's either discounting or there's old people at old rates who haven't been moved to the new rates yet. So you'll often see a lag like this. The lag increased. Oops, sorry. Here, just a month later in April, our economic occupancy went down. But if you look, we actually collected more rent, $11,900 versus $11,272. So how did economic occupancy go down? Well, what happened is we raised rates. So instead of being $13,672 as our max potential rent, our new max potential rent was $14,848. But again, we had old customers paying the old rates. So from a percentage standpoint, we went down. So in this case, area occupancy went up, economic occupancy went down. That's mixed signals. But we can look at it and go, hey, the most important thing is how much money's coming in, and we went up. And that's true across the board. As you look, we went from 11.9 to 11.2, 11.6, 11.6, 11.4. Again, there's that little August blip downward. But if you look at our total price, we've continuously raised rates each month. And so our max potential profits from this facility continue to go up, as does our collected income, basically on a month-to-month basis. I'm not going to consider a $200 decrease as anything to worry about here. But hopefully that gives you a real good indication of the interplay between economic occupancy, physical occupancy, and total revenue. All three of them are important metrics. We call them key performance indicators for us to track when we're looking at the health of our self-storage facility investment. But you can't take any one of them as the gospel. You need to look at the three and how they interplay between each other. And again, there are far more sophisticated ways to look at this than I've shared today. You can only share so much in a little 5-minute video, but hopefully you found some value in this. And if so, I'd love to hear from you below. Pop a question or comment down below. Give us a share if you're so willing. We're looking to get the Storage Rebellion word out there, and I rely on you guys to help me do that. So if you like what I'm sharing, please spread it around so that I know to give you more of it. All right, guys, we will see you real soon.